So at this stage I'm going to switch to the standard brush and start to catch shadow here next to the eye, deepen that negative space there, and then build out the cheekbones again, stepping up my subdivision levels so I've got a little bit more material to work with. But again, I did try and create that shape at a much lower subdivision level because you should always build shapes at the lowest possible subdivision level so they come out cleaner. And here I'm revisiting the masseter muscle like we talked about before. And then revisiting that nose again. Slowly but surely that nose is coming towards something that I like, but I don't obsess over it. I revisit it and then move on. It's a really pretty common theme that if you're new to ZBrush, I can't really impress upon you enough, is to keep moving, keep working around the model. Don't get stuck on one area too long. And here I'm using that clay tubes brush to roughen the lips, bringing the orbicularis oris muscle down, that little W shape at the bottom of the lower lip. That's the orbicularis oris muscle. You know, one of the things that when I was first starting out sculpting, I would watch people work, and I would always think, gosh, they work fast. And you know, I'm watching this now, and this is sped up. But something that was impressed upon me by a professor in school when we were watching some video of somebody sculpting, he said that accuracy brings speed, or speed comes from accuracy, meaning that, you know, I know that I'm going to put this orbicularis oris muscle there. I know it's there. I know the shape is there, just from, you know, practice and observation. So I'm able to very quickly dial it in. So really, if you can, you know, continue observing from nature and continue studying anatomy and studying form and sculpture, the more confident and the faster you're going to get. So if you're starting out and you feel like you sculpt slow or you feel like you work slow, that's okay. The speed does come. The speed comes through repetition and through experience and knowing where you're going to put things. Because ultimately it becomes a situation where you know where things are going to go, or you know where they need to go. It's just a matter of arranging them in a way that's pleasing. When you're doing a character like this, you know, I know where these mouth muscles are going to go, so I'm just trying to arrange them so I've got a mouth that I find appealing for this character, if that makes sense. At this point you can see I've got the points of the inside of the mouth sticking out here. So that's a good situation where I would go to the Move brush and turn on the topological masking. And set this to, let's say, 0.4. Now I can very easily pull just that point out. And let's try and get these deeper into the mouth here so we don't run into this problem again. And I'm just evaluating the overall form and bone structure here from the lowest subdivision level where things are really apparent. I really want to accentuate this lower border of the eye socket here. And I often work quickly around all points on the model. I try not to linger in one place too long. I like to keep working and rotating. It helps me keep a fresh eye on what I'm doing and just make sure that I don't miss anything, or I don't overwork one area in relation to the other areas. So I end up with a really good looking mouth, but then, the rest of the head looks completely unfinished. So you want to try and avoid things like that. The best way to think about it is that at any point you should be able to stop, and the entire head has all been worked up to the same level. So it's a valid piece on its own. If it's all sketchy, it's a sketch. If the mouth is totally finished, but the rest of the head is not, then it just looks unfinished. And by bringing everything up together, bringing everything up at the same rate, it gives you a more cohesive work in the end, I believe, because you've worked it all as a whole. You're working on this character as a single unit. You're not just working on the character's mouth and then the character's eye and the character's ear. You're allowing it all to come up together. Noses are interesting. They can be really tricky because they can change the look of a character so much, especially when you're working on a fantasy character. I run into this often, is just what the heck is the nose going to look like? Try and look at nature for reference. Think about how this character would breathe. I think slit noses like this can be really interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay with that nose design though. I'm going to undo those changes actually. I'm still not completely decided about the nose. I actually like this triangular flaring shape that we had here. This guy has such a large amount of space in the center of his face that's stretched out because of the way we spread the eyes. It is going to be important to determine how to handle the nose area and the snout area here. I'm going to change to the flat color material, and what this allows me to do is just evaluate the silhouette. So now I can go in with, let's say, the move brush here and just start moving these shapes around and seeing how I can change the silhouette of the character. I'm just looking for interesting forms. And then you could switch back to the basic material and see the changes that you've made. Bring these eyelids back against the surface of the sphere. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to the eye subtool here. Go into transparency mode, and I'm going to bring the eyeballs forward. And then we'll make the lower lid match.
I'm going to delete the lowest subdivision level now. The reason being is because I'm going to be going over to Go Z in a moment to make some changes in Maya. And what we're going to want to do is make sure that the mesh that goes over there is something that we can really spot the shapes on. The lowest subdivision level is just too low. And Go Z exports the lowest subdivision level of your Z tool. So this is going to work out better because on this one I can really see what's happening here. What I'm thinking at this point is I want to add some horns on this character. I need to create the geometry to handle that though. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tool and click the Go Z button.